What's the gossip?
Gossip in the Grove.
What's the gossip?
Gossip in the Grove.
What's the gossip?
Hello, welcome to Gossip in the Grove. I am your host, Traci Cunningham,
And I'm your co-host, Scarlett Mayfield.
and today we have a very special guest. His name is John Campbell, and he is a longtime resident, as well as a city council member. And we're going to talk about all things live streaming on the events that he does. So, welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good. So, my first question would be, when did you think about doing something like this and the progress that it has made and the following that you have gotten right now?
Well, the beginning was Richard Listian and
Okay.
and we did it mainly to highlight on things that were happening in the city. We did it during COVID when there wasn't a lot of information out, and the biggest purpose was, in COVID, a lot of people were in the news. It was about people getting depressed because you're at home all the time. There was nothing to do. There's no socialization.
Oh, yeah, I
So-
remember all that.
We try to do that and kind of let people know where the donation things were when Feeding America first started, and then what was going on within the city, whether it was a council meeting or if there was no rules or regulations or things. Just trying to help people be
Right,
people,
right. Well, and I do remember 2020, who cannot forget 2020? I do remember that you and Richard did a show. Was it in your house or his house?
It was in his
And I do
basement.
remember that, yeah. And I thought that was actually kind of cool because you were doing this live streaming and you were kind of talking to the community and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. So Richard is no longer with you doing that. So you took it on yourself, correct?
Yeah, Richard and his family moved to Middle Western Tennessee, and so we started the Facebook page, the Oak Grove Community Corner. And that's
Yes,
where we
that
do-
was it.
Yes, ma'am. And that's where we do
Yeah.
all the lives. And we just still try to touch on all the events. I try to make it out there when I can. And the biggest reason is to let people know what's going
Right.
on because
Right.
many years things happen within the city, but not a lot of information shared. The city shares it on the Facebook page. Not a lot of people go to it. I'm a part of it, but things don't show up on my
Right.
Facebook. So we do the lives. We try to make sure people know what's going on. And one of the biggest things I think I've taken on over the past 3 years is when the weather gets bad, a lot of people don't realize it's going to be bad.
That is true. And I have seen several of your lives on warning people, hey, this area here is, in a flood zone or whatever, or the weather. And so I do remember seeing you out there doing all that as well.
Yeah.
So, and you also own your own business, correct?
I do. My wife and I own it's not a very happy, we repossess cars.
Well,
What is it? What is it?
We repossess cars.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not one I promote often.
It pays the bills, though,
It pays the bills, hey. But so tell us a little. I know that this past weekend you did a live stream for the Oak Grove Community Center craft fair, and I saw a lot of vendors.
I was
So
really
tell me
shocked.
tell me a little bit about that. And were you out there the whole day? How was the attendance?
I really should have been there earlier, but I got there at about 9:30, and I think I left at about 1:30. I don't know what time it started, but it ended at 2. But I was really shocked. Every room, even in the hallway, was full of vendors. The little room to the right, the computer room, the hallway, and the gym. Gym had 10 or 15 different vendors. And there was 4 different food vendors, and everybody else made some type of craft, whether it's 3D printed, candles.
Nice.
And there were stuffed animals or those yarn little.
Or like crochet.
Like
Yeah.
the crochet
Yeah,
things.
I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff there. So
That's cool because
That is cool.
yeah, well, and had I been I was kind of sort of in and out of town. I don't, but that was the most I've seen vendors there.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
that
what I was gonna say. I
that
feel
is
like
the
that's
most I've
amazing
seen.
For the
I think it
community
was
center to be able
yeah.
to bring that many vendors.
And she's doing quite a bit. So does she get with you and say, okay, John, this is what we have. You want to come out and do a live stream, Miss Melissa, or do you know already what you're going to do and you already have it in your list? Says, okay, this is what I'm going to go out and do this time, and what? How do you go about doing that?
My wife will be the first to tell you I'm very forgetful.
No.
If someone doesn't stay on me, I will completely forget about it. Miss Melissa called me 8:30 once everyone kind of set up already and asked me to come out. And I had a late night that night, so I was asleep. So that's why I didn't get there till 9:30. But really, I try to make it to the important events. If I touch on it during a live before the week, I'm definitely going to be there that day. Because, we're trying to build attendance,
Right.
especially for the farmers market and the youth leagues and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We
Yeah.
would love those things to stay. So
Right.
I try to be out there as much as I can. But for the craft fair, she called me at 8:30, and they had asked me earlier in the week. And I told them I'd be there, so she called me. I came out there. And I forgot to mention the Yellow Jackets also. They're the youth league that's in Oak Grove. They play at Wade's Way. They were there for sign up. They were
Okay.
selling
Is that
some
like a
things.
football team or is it a soccer or what is it?
I think they're mostly football.
Okay.
But I think they do have soccer, and I think they do have other sports. But for us, we only have the football field and the one
Right.
softball, baseball field.
That's working pretty well in Wade's Wade, isn't it? Right now, is it?
There's not a lot of parking, which is the
Yeah.
biggest issue, but it's taken off. I mean, they had a lot of home games last year, 4, 6 of them.
Okay.
And they plan on doing more this year. And they're also trying to partner with the park in Hopkinsville. I'd really like them to stay in Oak Grove as much as I can, but
Yeah.
that park has more.
Yeah, and
parking.
it just bumps me out that we don't have a school, number one, and that we don't have a place where the youth can do any sports.
Right.
Because I think that is what is so important. And Oak Grove,
Well, and what ends up happening is, because Clarksville has, they have the Heritage Park where they have all the fields. That's where my kids play sports out there. I don't know what Hopkinsville has if they have.
they have
I can't remember the name of it. But
they have the Rough Park. They have Rough Park.
that's the one off of North Drive?
Yes,
Rough
yeah, they have Park Road.
It's
Yep.
a sports
Yeah.
complex. That's
Yeah.
where they do softball,
Yeah.
football, and soccer.
So then, like, the families in Oak Grove either end up not doing the sports because they don't have anywhere. They don't want to travel all the way into Clarksville or all the way into Hopkinsville, or they end up going to those other places. It would be nice to have something like that.
And I just wish that we had something here to, accommodate things like that. But it's just, it's really, really hard, especially if you do not have a school. But I think it's sad that kids can't get to do their sports because they're, if they have to go all the way in Hopkinsville or, like you said, it's kind of ramping up now in Oak Grove, with the sports stuff. So, yeah, if we even had a sportsplex, and I know Hopkinsville has a sportsplex and they have the Rough Park and all that, but it would really help if Oak Grove had something for these kids as well. I do remember a couple of years ago, Scarlett, I don't know if you were here, but we left work one day and outside in the big field, we had all these little kids and their parents getting soccer stuff together. They were putting up goals and they would come in, they would park at the Viceroy and they would go across to this big field right here, just in this little wood area right here, and they would have their little seats and stuff and they would do, and it was like 4 or 5 year old kids, they were just playing soccer, and it was so amazing that and I thought, well, there was 2 different teams, so it was like one team and another team, and I thought that was so awesome that they actually came here and did something like that,
And we've had inquiries for
we
youth
have-
footballs about using the
Well, we
field.
have, the only issue is with us in our area is number one, because of all the events it's it's
Right, if it's on a
it's
weekend.
on the weekends and it's just really crazy. And number two, I know it was mentioned to go across the street on Walter Garrett, but the issue is it's so rough, and you would have to totally, and it costs a lot of money to even fill in any of this stuff,
Right.
and not only that, but parking. You can park across, but is dangerous. I mean, even if
Yeah.
it's a small Walter Garrett lane, you still have to walk across to that big 5 acres,
Yeah.
and it's just the liability alone. We just didn't want to take that liability. So I do know that they're going to Wade's Way and stuff. And we even tried to even figure it out. Okay, is there a way that you can come here? Is there a way on, Valor
we did.
Hall?
We looked
We
into all
looked
kinds
at
of stuff
all
for it.
kinds of different logisticals and stuff, and it just didn't seem to, and like I said, I would do anything I could to help, but this is just, it's just not feasible to do that with them, and that's what's so sad. So, and Wade's Wade, if they had more parking, I think Wade's Wade would be perfect. But they need to
100%.
expand. They need to probably expand that parking lot, a little bit. So I don't know if that's
A
a
possibility.
possibility or
There's room for it.
Well, I think the way they built it, it's kind of landlocked. Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause the
that's
parking
right. I
lot
didn't
comes
think about
out,
that landlocked.
The baseball fields over there where they play football
Yeah.
over there. I don't know if the city owns any more to the right of it. And if they did, that can extend the parking lot
Right.
that way. But
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know, but I just, and I was trying to tell somebody, just build one of those big sportsplex in Oak Grove. I said, and they look at me like I have 4 heads. Well, okay, I have 5.
You just have big goals,
I
big
just-
dreams.
But I think the good thing is because you're constantly in the know of everything what's going on. You know the sports, what people and you're doing the live stream and stuff. So I think that's important. So I think that you just to continue that. I think people will catch on more because I don't get to see it all the time on your live until I see something because it'll pop up and I'm like, he was live? When was he live?
So maybe I'm not on the page because I don't think I have seen your live.
Yeah, because it was interesting because I just saw it. That's why I was like, I didn't know that he was live there. So I saw it and I was looking at the live and stuff and I said, I don't even know why I'm not getting notification that when you go live. So is there a way that we can do that, John? Is there a way that the people who's listening that can?
So if you're part of the page, you follow the page, and he's posting the lives. If you're not getting the notifications, typically that's going to be on your Facebook settings.
Oh.
And there usually is a way to go in, and if it's on the page, you can go into the page and change the notification settings to be able to always notify you.
Okay.
It's hard to explain how to do that, but typically there's like 3 dots, and it's under the settings under that. So.
Okay. How many followers do you have? I mean,
How many people are in the group?
how many people are in the group that? Yeah.
I am not sure.
Okay.
Last I checked, I think we were in the hundreds.
Oh, good. Good.
As far as the lives go, it really depends. If it's for weather, I get about 10 to 20 people because
Okay.
everyone wants to know what's going on
Right.
with
Right.
bad weather. But when it's for the events, 3 to 5, and I'd love to see more.
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm saying. That's what we're here. We
Right.
want to.
Yeah.
We want people to know that, hey, he's here. He's doing these live events, streaming on these events. Please, go and watch it and click like and follow him or whatever, and just find out where he's at so you can go and enjoy the craft show, or enjoy whatever you're streaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so how often do you do is it only for events and only for weather, or do you do regular lives too, just to inform people?
Richard and I planned on doing 2 a month.
Okay.
And we were going to make them scheduled, but that really fell through, and I feel like it's just gotten a lot better if we just do it during an event, or maybe if there's a lot of things going on for like the month of March, we would do it for the first week of March for everyone to know what's going on in Oak Grove. And then the events that we go to, the community center has March Madness. I can't remember what day that is.
Isn't that 3-on-3
Yeah,
that
the
Melissa was
basketball.
talking about? She wanted you guys to do the
Yes.
basketball
Yes,
thing.
yes.
I'm excited for that. But
Does she have a lot of teams, John, or is she on this?
she had a bracket that she
Okay.
showed me 2 weeks ago that looked pretty
Was
decent.
was Valor Hall on that bracket? Because
She,
we haven't practiced.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, just so you show up.
yeah, because she talked Lee and Scarlett
Yeah.
and Pam. Was it Pam?
Maybe I think
Or
we just
Ari.
voluntold
Or was it
somebody
Ari?
else.
Yeah, they were going to do the three. I said, I ain't doing no dang on basketball. I can't do no basketball. But yeah, I figured, because I was wondering when that was, because I remember her talking about that on her podcast.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be really fun, and that's going to be a good time. So you'll be there
Most likely.
and live streaming it. Are you playing? Are you going to
No.
be?
No, I am not. I'm not a runner.
Neither am I.
Hey, if we do it, I'm making us team shirts.
Yes.
We're gonna
we
make
definitely need to go
team-
represent Valor Hall.
Yeah, I'll design them up. We're gonna do team shirts
We
if we
have
do
to.
it.
I'm excited. We need to figure out our third and get it.
I
Yeah.
think it's either going to be Ari or Pam. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be Ari because Pam doesn't like to dance either anymore.
No, she
So
does
she's-
not. No.
She says she has 2 left feet.
Pam,
So-
Pam says she has no rhythm. So, what else that you know of on the community scene? I know that Melissa was talking about a lot of stuff too, but besides the March Madness, what else are you planning on live streaming there as well?
I am not sure because I don't have the calendar in front of me. I don't know what else they have going on this month. I know they have a lunch. I know we're going to start the farmers market back up
Yeah,
again.
I believe Isaiah is coming next week to talk about that.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'll be there for at least the first one of that.
Okay.
And then once we get dates set, we'll live stream about that. And I would love people to share to the other pages
Okay.
as much as they can.
Yeah. Okay.
The reason I don't share it is I don't feel like it holds as much weight if I continue to share it, right? Because they see my name, they're like, oh, it's, and they scroll on. But if someone else shares it,
And so
every
other people
time,
share it and share it. Yeah.
I think it'll gain a
It'll
lot of
get on. It'll
traction,
get on traction.
100%.
Yep. So,
So
well, that's what we can do then. We can just start sharing and all that stuff too. So, okay, Scarlett, what else do we have? What ask away, ask questions, ask
all right.
away.
Okay. So are you only doing the lives on Facebook? Have you thought about trying to incorporate other platforms like TikTok or anything like that?
I don't know other platforms that I can have a centered Oak Grove following
Okay.
because like TikTok, I can't have a
So you want this to specifically just be Oak Grove and not
Oak
you
Grove
know.
and the surrounding area.
Okay.
Because the events are for everybody to enjoy. We want them
Right.
to be big so they continue. We don't want any of them to fail or
Mm-hmm.
or feel like they fail. So the more people that come out, they can be Oak Grove, Clarksville. The biggest thing I found with the Oak Grove Facebook page, I have the Oak Grove Community
Mm-hmm.
Corner, is there's an Oak Grove in Kansas or Missouri.
Oh my!
Yes, there are. There's.
Oh.
I find that too sometimes when I'm searching Oak Grove and I'm like,
Yeah, there
okay, well,
is.
this isn't popping up Kentucky. A lot of times the other states pop up first. It
Well,
makes it does hard.
We got a lot of residents from Oak Grove, Missouri, which is right outside of Kansas
Oh,
City.
that's so funny.
And the page was maybe a year old, and they started posting about what's going on this street, this street, this street. And I'm like,
What?
I don't know these streets. So I'm Googling it, and then I had to, I removed them from the group because I didn't want them to be confused trying to find the event here, up there.
Right.
But I really would like it to be a local type
Okay.
deal, so I keep it on Facebook.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Water. I was getting a little parched there. So that's what we'll do is when you do that, then we can share and all that. We'll share and we'll keep it to Oak Grove. And then
So are you is your main goal trying to just get more people to follow the Facebook page so they can have the information? Because when you think about the watch numbers, how you were saying, well, the events, you get 3 to 4, but that might not be a bad thing if they're attending the event, so they're not looking at the live. You
Right,
know?
100%. It's more to build, I guess, unity.
Yeah.
We're a small community. Granted, we've got 2 large cities on either side of us, but at the end of the day, we rely on each other. So if there's a central spot to put information out that's reliable and good things happen, I'm trying to promote growth and unity
Right.
within Oak Grove.
Okay.
That was the whole purpose for the page to begin with.
yeah, and I do remember one time. I think it was a few years ago, and Richard may have been still here. You guys wanted to do a big, huge barbecue
We did.
Yes.
We still do.
And because Richard actually private messaged me and said something about they wanted to do a barbecue
A cook-off.
cook-off or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, you just let me know. I mean, they can, the park is right here. And I said, you just let me know what you need. And that never came to fruition.
Well, the best time to do it, which is also the worst time, would be during your spring into summer.
Into summer, yeah.
The reason why I say it's the best
Yes.
time is because if it barbecue and barbecue cook-offs are very important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are organizations that run these massive.
And they're serious about it.
I know that's what
They're
I was gonna say. They
serious
take
about
it so seriously.
They are serious.
And it is so easy to have an event become one of those sanctioned events, which will grow the attendance for the cook-off, and at the same time grow the attendance for the spring and the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But then we run into the issue of space because you're going to want them on pavement for cooking, and you're limited.
Yes,
So
very much.
I haven't logistically thought about it on how I should bring it to you on my ideas of where we would put everybody.
All right.
Because the first few years, I can see it being only 10 people, roughly. That's easy. But if you look at these bigger ones, if it ever becomes a sanctioned event by one of these big barbecue organizations, people come from all over with RVs and campers
They do.
to load space and,
Yeah.
and going from 10 in the corner on tables and smokers in a tent to 15 or 20 with not mobile homes, but big RVs or fifth wheel trailers and stuff.
Where
would we put it?
Where is a barbecue cook-off? Where
The closest
yeah,
one?
the closest
oh,
one.
It's
And
probably
when
going to be in Nashville, and they're mostly in the summer.
Okay. Yeah. Because I thought, I know they have a barbecue festival down in Owensboro and all that, and Henderson, I think. But I don't think it's a cook-off. I think it's just one of those barbecue festivals, whatever. And then, of course, they have the chili cook-off. I think that Mac has the chili cook-off, and that's what they do down there. So we were going to say, well, we can always compete there, and we can just have our little chili cook-off here,
We have a chili cook-off here.
In the community center, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
When is that going to be? Is that going to be?
Veterans Day weekend. So
Okay.
it's the first or second weekend of November.
Okay.
And I never really wanted it that weekend because that's a really busy weekend for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's always the first weekend that's kind of cold enough for chili. A lot of people try to do it in October,
Yes.
and October here is still in 70 degrees.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
hit or
I
miss.
know.
I
Yeah.
can't do it.
I know.
So
That
November's
was crazy.
typically the first weekend it's in the 50s, and then after that is Thanksgiving, so it's so hard to make it later. So it's been Veterans Weekend the last 3 times we've done it, and I think that's what it's going to be, that Saturday.
Wonderful. Okay. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
I try to get the police department and the fire department every year to compete with their
And they
bullets.
just don't want to do it.
won't
They
do it.
just won't do it. Wow. I said, come on now, just one time. Just if I can get you just one time. But no, they don't want to. Is it who's the one that's not doing it? Is it the police department don't want to do, or is it the fire department?
I think they wait till,
Which one is the one that says I don't want to do this?
I think they wait to see which one's going to say no first.
Oh wow, that's wild. That's
I
just
think they're
crazy.
emailing each other,
Of course.
trying to see who's going to break the news.
Exactly. Oh my God, Lee, do you have a question for John?
I don't. I'm just.
You're just
here.
gonna wait for the gossip in the Grove of the week,
That's
aren't
right.
you?
That's
That's
Okay,
what
right.
you're
she's got
waiting
some
on.
really good gossip.
Oh, good. Don't you do know that we did the little casting call? Yeah,
I did.
Saturday. Yep.
I thought about wanting to
Yeah, I was
come
gonna
up
say,
here
you
for
shoulda
one of the
came-
ghosts or something.
You
but
you should have came on out.
I'm telling you.
I chose not to.
So we'll see. I mean, this is something that's in the works, and then we're going to try and make this happen, and give a little bit more stuff for Oak Grove. So, what is there anything that you want to add, John? Anything that you want to talk about that we haven't touched base with, or that you would really want the residents of Oak Grove to know?
I think we've hit on everything pretty much. From a council person standpoint, please don't ever feel like your voice isn't heard. If you have something you want to talk about or say, our council meetings are the first and third Tuesday of every month, starting at 6, and we have committee whole meetings starting at 5 on the first Thursday of every month. Come out, talk. You can email your council members. All of our email addresses and contact info is on the city's website, and join the Oak Grove Community Corner. You know, we are always talking about something. There's it's a group. It's not just a page. So it's a group that people can get on there and make posts also. It's not just a page for information. It's for everybody to kind of talk about.
So that's the
whatever they
Oak
want.
Grove Community Corner. So everybody who's listening,
I
you
think
go in there and you become, you know, you like it or ask. I guess you have to approve
Yeah,
them,
you gotta-
right?
Yep.
click
Yeah,
join.
you have to approve them. So yeah, so just definitely, and he's got some good information, and he's out there, and he's, you know, live streaming all these events, these cool things in Oak Grove, and a lot of people think that there's nothing to do in Oak Grove. There is a lot to do. You just have to go out there, and you're gonna have to find, you know, follow the people, and just, you know, be there. I mean, be present. You know, you got this. I mean, if you care anything about your community, you can find anything else, you know, and you can get involved. You know, so
the information is out there.
It
You
is.
just have to actually, you know,
yes,
Find it.
find it.
Find it.
Exactly. And once you
Exactly.
find it and you follow it, then
Exactly.
you'll always know what's
exactly
going on.
right.
So
That's exactly right. So, but we're gonna be right back in just 1 second.
This is Lee with Gossip of the Week.
you know, Lee and I, before we came up here, we were talking about the gossip of the week.
Yes.
And we were like, I was like, you got gossip? And he said, well,
You know, I just joined the Oak Grove Uncensored chat. I'm trying
Okay.
trying to figure out what's really going on, but they were talking about the weather just like I was. So for the gossip,
flooding and the-
right? Now it's looking pretty nice outside. So it went from bad weather, now it's looking to great weather now. But
it's hard to find gossip in Oak Grove sometimes, you know. Like, there's not a lot of craziness, you know.
but when there is, we will speak about it. Yeah.
How about you? You think of any gossip in the Grove there, John?
Yeah, you know everything going on.
You know everything going on.
Let's hear some
I'm
gossip.
going to plead the fifth.
I think if we could have maybe some of our listeners help us out with some gossip, if you know some of what's going on,
We're
that
gonna start
we don't
doing.
know.
We'll do a call in
Yeah,
from
we
now
should.
on. We're gonna
We
start
should.
doing
We're
that.
gonna do a
I don't
call
know
in.
We'll
how
do a
we're
call
gonna
in.
do that, but we
We're gonna figure
should.
it out.
Why not? We figured everything else out.
So yeah, we'll work on that for the next podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a caller call in, and we'll get some more gossip.
Yeah,
I think that'd be pretty cool.
That'll
Don't you
be
think?
a good idea.
Yeah, because if you don't know, John, the other gossip was the truck underwater.
Yeah, that was the first.
Oh,
That
that
was
was
a
the
good
first-
gossip. The first.
That was a
gossip
very
the
good
truck.
gossip. The truck
The
underwater.
Wonder Truck.
The
Is
Wonder
it still there?
Yeah,
I-
it's still there.
Is
It's
it?
still emerged.
I wonder when we're gonna see it again.
I wonder what happened.
I wonder why it's there.
Well, if it's still completely submerged, you're probably not going to see it again until April.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, it is. It's
Whenever that floods, it floods every year, and that water stays about at its highest level for a good month before it starts.
Ooh.
I really wonder who the owner is.
Me too.
I
I
really
did.
want
I
to
hate
know.
it because it looked like it was a halfway decent truck. I
It
mean,
was.
I mean,
it looked like it was a nice
I would have
truck.
taken it off their hands if they didn't want it that bad. I mean,
They just completely abandoned it.
Well, I mean, they couldn't get it out, so it wasn't like they abandoned it on purposely.
Right.
They
right.
just couldn't get
Well,
to that water.
they could have called a tow truck.
They-
Just saying. Just saying. We got, you know.
We know a guy.
We know a guy who knows a guy. Oh, okay. Is that all you have now?
That's all I got, Miss Tracy. Next week will be better. We'll have a caller call in, and
And they can give us their gossip
that's
of the,
right.
of the week.
That's right.
So, Scarlett, you want to tell our listeners where they can actually listen to us?
Absolutely. If you're listening now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you share us to all your friends so they can keep up with everything going on in Oak Grove. We're obviously on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. You can even watch the videos on YouTube. So,
And we'll see you next week.
Gossip in the Grove.